Inside the Barriers, brought to you by Bet Deluxe. Serious betting for serious punters.
Hello, yes, and a big welcome, Bet Deluxe Inside the Barriers. We're coming into the final day. It's Champions Day. It's been a long, hard grind. How you doing, Miles?
Brian, I'm hanging in there. I've spent a lot of tickets, been on track every day, and look, it's been up and down for the punters, I think. Cup Day was probably a bit tougher, talking to a few, but I think we can finish the Melbourne Cup week with a bang.
Well, weather looks terrific. I think it'll be an improving track come Saturday, looking at about 20 degrees. And what about this sort of programming of the champions, the stakes, the classic, the mile? I think it could be the best day of the week.
This has overtaken Derby Day, hasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Now, and I think when you put the three Group 1s on and then you've got the Group 2 and Group 3 as support races, it's certainly in front of Cup Day. It's rivaled Derby Day now as the best day of the spring.
And, you know, 6 of the first 7 home in the Cox Plate are there on Saturday.
That's what you want.
One missing, called Gold Trip.
Yeah, one missing Gold Trip. And, geez, if he went around again, he'd probably nearly win as well.
Yep.
But we're seeing the best of the best, and that's what we want. We've seen them go up to Sydney. Now it's our turn.
OK, let's have a look at the big one. We've got Animo and I'm Thunderstruck. This is the race that really, when you look at the Champion Stakes, it's these two coming together. There's a great argument for I'm Thunderstruck being very unlucky. But Animo had the race sort of won at the first circuit.
There certainly is, and that's going to be our punters pick this week, of course. $1,000 at Dan Murphy's, courtesy of Bet Deluxe. And, when it is a race this big, that's what you need. So we've got to pick 3. We've got to put them in the order. That's going to be Animo, I'm Thunderstruck and Zaaki. And I don't think we can argue too much with those 3. Animo's probably the best horse in Australia, as we know. And I didn't think he'd go around again. I thought they'd go Stallion Barn and be done. But they're not going to risk him if it's going to ruin his record leading up into a stallion career. So he's definitely on top for me. I'm Thunder. A lot of people saying he should have won the Cox Plate. It was a massive finish for mine. He has to be in second. And Zaaki, well, look, if he probably went to the other race, I think he might have won that or gone close to winning that. He goes this way instead. He's going to be in behind them. I think Hinged is probably the one that'll come in for 4th. But my punters pick, BM, as I ask you for yours, is going to be Animo, I'm Thunderstruck and Zaaki.
Yeah, they're the 3 for me. I don't think you can go outside them. I thought Elliptical with the 3-year-old's weight might be able to push into 4th.
Yeah, Elliptical was the winner, didn't it, in Sydney until late. And I know you see some comments in the media about the owners thought they were home and had turned around and started celebrating. So that can be tough. But yeah, not quite for me. I think the big boys are gonna shine to the fore. And Animo, wowee. I mean, what's he done? He's just been nothing short of superb. So put your 1, 2, 3 in order in the comments below. And you get your chance at the $1,000 Dan Murphy's voucher.
Does Nature Strip come back to Melbourne and win this race, which he's won for the last couple of years? It's got a name change. How do you read him?
Look, the Everest, I thought it was tempo. And, you know, Eduardo and him went out, and then Eduardo failed right out the back, and Nature Strip sort of hung on, and I went, geez, tough, he's going really well.
Over the rise, he sort of half looked the winner, didn't he?
He did, and then when you break it back down, they probably weren't going as quick as what I thought they were. So I'm actually probably going to risk him, dare I say it here, at that shorter quote. And I'm looking around horses. I know a lot of people are going to be with Giga Kick because Giga Kick got the job done, but Giga Kick got it done in those circumstances with that tempo. There's a horse here called Bella Nipotina that... a long time ago, we always went, it's going to win a Group 1 at some point. I mean, those runs at Moonee Valley have been enormous. The run in the Moya against Patton against Coolangatta, I mean, it had no right to even get that close from where it was. And then it came out in the revised Manikato and destroyed them, just destroyed them.
It was its greatest win this in its career. It was unbelievable.
And I'm not entirely sure whether or not the Valley is her track. So I want to see her maybe getting on some fine weather, decent surface. And if she's in the form that she's in, I've got Bella Nipotina on top at that price. I just think it's a better option. I know Nature Strip's record up the straight speak for itself, but I'm going to go with Bella.
What about Giga Kick? Knows the straight?
I know he does. I'm just... Look, I probably want to see it again. I know that's a little bit harsh on a horse that just won the Everest, but if you go back through that Everest, every single thing went in that horse's favour. And I mean, we're form students and we look at form, and on the form you couldn't have had that horse. It surprised everyone, including a lot of people that are in the horse. He was, he's obviously weighted perfectly. He got the pattern of suit. He had the right part of the track. He had the right run in transit for him. I just don't know whether or not a horse like that, after a grand final, some of them just after Everest, I think, can just start to tail off, because the Everest, they're trained to the minute.
Grand final, yeah.
It's a grand final.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
This is a sub. This is a sub for them. We'll add one on after. This is how well the horse is going. So I'm going to be with Bella at the price. Nature Strip, I'm definitely not going to leave out of my quaddie. No way.
Fair call. We see My Oberon come to Melbourne here again, and gee whiz, he's an exciting horse. Is this his race, the mile?
This is his race, My Oberon. I think this horse could be anything. His form over in Great Britain was nothing short of superb. There are big raps on this horse. He came to the Valley on the 22nd, and when he went in there, he did it superbly. Beat Banker's Choice. I know, admittedly, there's some few horses in there that aren't full-blown top-liners, but it was the way the horse did it. And first up, I think second up, he's only going to improve. I think the track's going to suit him. I think the trip's going to suit him. He's 6-year-old. He's had 17 starts for 6 wins. He's going to start winding up now. Next year in the Spring Carnival, put this horse in your book. This is his for the taking. I'm actually staggered, genuinely staggered, that you can get something with a 4 in front of it. I know Private Eye has been supported well in the market, but I'm really keen on My Oberon.
What the two guys like Alligator Blood, up on speed, of course, Mr. Brightside, they just didn't rate high enough to be in the finish of the Cox Plate. Is this just a little notch down going to suit them?
I think it will suit them.
Yeah.
I think it will.
And back to the mile.
And back to the mile. I mean, you can't knock anything that Private Eye's done, can you?
Oh, he's a beauty. Yeah.
Absolute beauty. So he's short enough. Oberon, I've just... You know when you sometimes, BM, you just fall in love with a horse early? This is one of those. This is one that you go, this thing could be special. And I know that you look back through the record and go, geez, really, what's it beaten? But even the run in Dubai, 4 links off the mare at $41, comes over, goes over and wins these races in Modern News, a few others in there. Mustabek, it just won and won well. So this is a bet for mine. This will probably be one of my better bets of the day, if not the best of the day.
Oh, okay. I've got a couple running there in my syndicates. I've got a horse called Aesop, which runs in race 2. He'd be better suited on Saturday from the conditions the other day. Had a few issues after it. And look out for a horse we have over from Ireland having its first start in race 3 called Chicago Bear.
Yeah,
He's trialled okay, but he's drawn off the track.
Aesop, I think you're drawn okay in 11 there with Jamie Carr on board. You've got options. Philip Stokes, gun trainer, as we all know, the Stokes team. And you're in the market. I reckon you're in with a decent hope. And what was the name of the one in race?
Chicago Bear in the 3rd, first start from Ireland.
Chicago Bear in the 3rd. I just can't quite find that.
C. Williams, gate 15.
Yeah, well, look, you're going to be in that up to your neck too, probably. You'll be out on track going for a look.
Well, I what?
Do you want to go to Sydney and have a quick look?
Yeah, what about the big one up there, the 5 Diamonds?
Interesting little race, the 5 Diamonds. And look, I was trying to find horses that, when you get them on a decent track, that they change. And one of those, for me, is going to be Ayrton. Yeah. Now, Ayrton's record on a good surface is nothing short of superb.
And he can run time.
So I think Ellsberg's probably more suited with more sting out of the track. I think Laws of Indices clearly the main danger. But I've made this one of the each-way plays of the day. As soon as you get Ayrton back on a good deck, he is a really, really, really good horse.
Yeah, my word.
I think they're going to take him west at some point. But you're going to get close enough to $9 or $8 or $9 or something about this. Yep. So Ayrton, each way, all day in the 5 Diamonds.
Okay, wrapping up our $1,000 voucher there for Dan Murphy, your 712.
The punter's pick for the $1,000 voucher, Animo, the 7 for me. I've got On Thunderstruck running into 2nd. I've got Zaki hanging on into 3rd. I mean, you've just got to take the 2 best runs out of the Cox Plate.
Yep.
And that was those 2. Zaki, I think you get back and he gets better conditions here for him rather than the Valley. So that is my punter's pick, 712.
Have a great Champions Day.
You too, Ben.
Good on you, mate. Go on, deluxe yourself. Gamble responsibly.
Inside the Barriers. Brought to you by Bet Deluxe. Serious betting for serious punters.